First off, I want to welcome everyone to John's party here. We didn't actually think he'd make it to this old. If anyone wants to pay attention to the entertainment, we're over here. Okay, so if some of you in here actually know me, there's a couple of people I actually recognize. For those of you who don't know me, I will introduce myself. My name is Silos or Carlos, depends on what neighborhood I'm running through. If I'm being pulled over, my name is Charles. Now, you guys, aging isn't easy, and John's going to be able to relate to this. I realized recently, because I have my kids over here playing games in the back right now, and I realize now as a parent that we know the names of more medicines now than we did when we were kids. And if you're thinking about it, we know the name of zithromycin, we know amoxicillin, we know the actual medical term names for the real medicines like Tylenol and Advil, ibuprofen, acetaminophen. And I was like, dang, when I was a kid, I always said I'm taking the pink stuff. Think about that. It's like, and think about it, when you get older, that's when they start saying the medicine is the good stuff. And then you start to know a lot more medications after that. I mean, for me, I come from a family of 8 kids. So if you're thinking, wow, yeah, my parents didn't have any TV. Heck, I don't even think they had a radio. To the point where 2 of my siblings were born exactly a year apart. Must have been a rerun. Shoot. To let you know, I'm actually the youngest of 8 kids. My birth certificate said "We the People." And all I could say is, growing up, as the youngest of 8 kids, I got the hand-me-downs. I didn't get spoiled like everyone would think. The babies, he gets everything. No, I got a couple of things that I wanted, but for the most part, I got hand-me-downs. My hand-me-downs sucked. And I'll explain. That's because 5 of my siblings were female. Those pink pups hurt. Now, if you think that's bad, they were also the ones dressing me all through elementary, junior high, high school. So that made for some interesting school pictures. You're raising your hand, do you have a question? What was that? We're going to get to the music in a little bit. First, I get to talk. Congratulations, you have the award of being my first heckler. No, like I was talking about, my sisters were the ones who were dressing me all the way through school. So all my school pictures were kind of awkward. I always wondered, how long were they going to dress me before my mom said, okay, wait a minute, he's had enough. Let him dress himself. So for my senior picture, I was rocking the halter top and high heels. And I pulled it off. Now, I realized as the fact that they were the ones dressing me, I actually gained a fashion sense because of the fact that, females are the only ones who have a fashion sense whatsoever. If we're up to guys, we can hear t-shirt and jeans. Look at me. I showed up in the standards. Now, one thing I know is I know how to color coordinate, I know how to match stuff, because they showed me how it's supposed to go. But that was, that's not even the thing. When we get into relationships, and I can say I've been in a few, when we get into a relationship, the guys aren't the ones that dress themselves whatsoever. Because at this point, if you go shopping with your significant other, wife, girlfriend, mom, basically you walk into the store, you're not picking the stuff out for yourself. You touch something, they shake their head no. And then once they figure it out, you're just there to try the stuff on. They don't want you picking stuff out because they want you presentable for themselves. Now, I can say this as a fact because I realized I had been dressed many times by the different relationships I've been in, and each one of them had different standards apparently. But I realized, like when I lived with a couple, they actually would let me walk to the closet and act like I was picking out my own wardrobe. Because I realized I saw this whole time that I went up, started reaching for a shirt, and I looked back, and all I saw was, and then I reached for another. And all of a sudden, finally I get to the one they want. And then what's he say? You know what that would go good with? Because they already had their whole outfit planned. Down to the pants, the socks, the underwear. They don't like the brown stripes you guys wear. Now, I was talking about, I've been in a relationship, several relationships here. Obviously, I didn't date going through high school because of the way I was dressed by my sisters. Now, I started dating once I got out of high school, and now I had to do it online. I relied on online dating. I went through chat rooms. And, I met my ex-wife through that. And yeah, I said ex. That's my love right there. But, it was weird because I did it before eHarmony and this Match stuff. None of that stuff works until now. But I've been in a few different relationships since then. I've been with a couple of white girls, a couple of Latinas. Recently I was dating a Filipina. That one went so well, she opted to be deported. She told me our relationship was going in different directions. I didn't realize she had to book a flight for hers. Yeah, I guess that's just my luck right now. The girl I'm with right now, she's taller than me actually, and when we walk hand in hand, it looks like she's walking me to school. I know I'm not exactly the tallest guy in the room here. I'm actually the second tallest in my family, which that's a pretty depressing fact. Because like I said, my parents had 8 kids. They were either going for a small lawn care service or a sports team. We stopped one player short of a baseball team, right? And all this, it's just like, I could say I've learned so many lessons from, growing up with the 8 kids, and the best thing I could ever have learned was run, because, all my family likes to pick on each other. And I became a practical joker just because of my family. Now, when I say I was a practical joker, I made priests laugh. Because, my sisters, one of my sisters actually works for a church. And she decided she wanted to introduce our family to one of the priests. So she's talking, and I see her, with one of my other sisters there. And she goes, yeah, this is my sister. And the priest is like, oh yeah, you guys do look alike. And all of a sudden, she sees me walking up, and she goes, hey, Carlos, come here. So I walk up, and the priest goes, hi, nice to meet you. And he goes, yeah. She's like, this is my little brother. And he goes, oh yeah, I can see the similarities. And I said, yeah, but she shaved this morning. My sister didn't like that whatsoever, but the priest laughed very hard. Now, I get in trouble at church a lot. I'm actually one of the catechism teachers on a Saturday. So I'm actually very active in that church. Well, I actually took the teaching job just because I like being able to be bigger than someone. I teach first graders, so I'm taller than all of them. Finally, I could look down on someone. Now, other times I've gotten in trouble in church, mostly because of my phone. Now, I have different ringtones for different things. At one point, I had The Simpsons as one of my ringtones. And middle of Mass, priest goes, let us pray. And all you hear from my pocket is, oh! nice and loud. The priest actually looked over at me. My mom also looked at me and told me, put it on silent. Yeah, I realized that has a lot of effect on me. Now, as I explained, I have 2 kids, and you know, in high school I was pretty much a nerd, geek, dweeb, whatever you want to call me. I'm like tech support without the accent. I can fix a computer, I can definitely do that. But I'm just living proof that nerds can procreate. So I like to talk about, you know, the times that my kids have made me proud, how they do certain things. Like one time when my oldest kid was about 6 years old, you know, I'm getting ready to take him to school, and all of a sudden he comes into the bathroom while I'm getting ready, and he just looks over at me, yells out, "Staring contest," and stares straight into the mirror. I had to look over and go, "You're not going to win this contest." But he put in his best effort. Yeah, he was staring hard. He lost, but it was close. He blinked. Now, other times that, you know, my kids make me proud, you know, you spend those times where you travel with them. And for me, my family actually lives out in LA, so I'm going from out here in Riverside area to LA. That's a long trip. So I have to load them up in the car all the time. So as they get in the car, I go to get in my side, and all of a sudden, as I open my door, I'm hit with this cloud. I'm like, what the hell? Which one of you did it? And, you know, my oldest raises his hand. It was me, Dad. I'm like, you. I couldn't be more proud of the fact that you just hit me with that. But just remember, I've got the window locks, and you're next. Now, I'll explain, you know, other things about me that's kind of weird. Like I said, I'm tech support. I do computers on the side. I help fix computers. But some of my other jobs have been kind of weird. I used to work for a large fitness corporation, and that's not the joke. Okay, I know exactly what I look like. This is the result of 4 years of working for one of the largest fitness corporations in the U.S. I was not their spokesperson. I'm like before. They fired me after 4 years because of, well, look at me. I'm not exactly the shining example of fitness. Can you see me as a personal trainer? Come on, 4 more reps. You got this. Lift. Come on. You want me to spot you? It's not going to be pretty because I'm going to be asking for help at the same time. Oh my God. You know, I've worked. You know, I'm a co-worker of John's as well, and we performed together, and I think I did a better job. And like I said, you know, as we get older, we realize we start to know the medications better. But we also start to know procedures a lot better from the medical procedures that we have to go through. At this point, I'm not exactly looking forward to the point where the doctor walks in with that one finger in the air, and all I'm going to tell him is, you better be pointing me to the right room, because I don't even want to know where you're putting that finger. Because you got to think about this, you know, once you get to those special procedures, you don't walk right after that. I don't know if any of you can relate or not, you know. I'm not putting anyone on the spot or anything. You know, this is something like when my normal crowds go. They start disappearing as soon as my jokes start getting good. No, I've been doing this for 7 years. I've done it to crowds. The first time I ever did anything, I went to a bar to tell jokes, and the problem was I was telling things about Alcoholics Anonymous at a bar, because, you know, that's the place to do it. But then again, I realized maybe the wrong crowd, because, you know, I have to ask if anyone knows about Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, if it's supposed to be anonymous, why do they ask you to say your name? I'd say she's in there, exactly. How many meetings have you been there? No, I've never. It makes sense, you know. Then they ask you why you're there. It's because I'm addicted to cupcakes. You know, I'm not exactly here because I have a problem, you know. That's like going to a psychic, knocking on the door and hearing, who's there? You know what, I don't need this service anymore. Yeah, so I'd like to say I have some musical talent, but I don't. That's why John's going to be playing all the music today. I was telling him, man, he's the only one I know that has the electric ukulele. That's tough, you know. Because you know that's the first band member they sworn. I mean, you know, you got Chrissy there, you know. I think she got the short end of the stick. I'm playing, Joe, I'm playing.
Oh, that was
like that? Like that? Get it, John, get it.
But then again, I'm not exactly playing with the full deck here either.
You alright, you alright.
You know, obviously, I'm playing with the jokers. I cheat. That's why, like I said, I did the online dating, and the only reason I do the online dating was because of the fact that you don't have to tell them exactly what you look like. For all they know, you could be putting up a picture of Tom Selleck, and that's what they have to go by. Come on, I could be 6 foot, wearing platforms. Yeah, I know how short I am, and obviously it's not easy, you know, when you're sitting at the toilet and your feet swing. You know, I hate to face the facts. I'm never going to get any taller. And my sons look at me and they ask me, why, Dad? Why didn't you tell us this was going to happen to us? Because they also see the rest of my family that is not tall either. So my older one at least realizes it. My younger one, here's another moment of my sons make me proud. You know, Father's Day, they make gifts for you. And my youngest decided he was going to make a little booklet thing, which was actually pretty awesome, except for the first page. My son wrote on the first page, it says, my dad is tall. My older one, like I said, realizes the truth and goes like, you suck, Dad. You should tell him the truth. The next line goes, my dad is a monster who always farts. All right, I'll have you know I am not a monster. Now, the last line, his hair is black. All right, 1 for 3. You did a good job. My youngest is right here, just standing here. You want to come out here, Marcus? Come here. This is my youngest. He's the one that wrote that. He did a good job. He made me feel proud of me, Dad. That's right. Get out of here. I don't want you here anymore. Go play games. I pick on them so much, but then again, they start to pick on me. I thought I was teaching them how not to be picked on. Turns out, I taught them how to get ammo against me. Because, you know, all the time they're looking at me going, Dad, how old are you now? What was Jesus like? Did you know Moses? Well, then again, I teach church. They're right in there. You know, they're right there just doing the same thing to me. You know, my brothers and I, my sisters, we're all practical jokers, so it runs in the family. And the fact that my parents, you know, my brothers and sisters used to pick on me because I do know that you guys are looking at me, and the first feature you notice is my eyes. Yeah, right, my ears stick out like car doors. And I can say it honestly, I know that they're there. But here's the thing, you know, I don't fall fast, I glide slow. And it's, you know, it's an interesting fact for me. You know, it's always been great. But, you know, my brothers used to tell me that my older brother had ears like mine. But in order to fix it, my mom would tape them back. I believed them. So they would watch as I put tape on in the middle of the night and be laughing outside the door. I wondered what the heck they were laughing at. I thought they were watching a funny show. Apparently, I was the show. Yeah, I got picked on so much, but then again, you know, I get it now. You know, people in elementary school, you know, I always got picked on for this thing. I mean, even when I got older, I was riding the train for Metrolink. And as I get into the, I used to, you know, have to get on the elevator so I could get to the one side of the track. And as I get in the elevator coming home, this little girl gets pushed into the elevator by her mom. The girl had to be probably 3-4 years old. And she looks up at me and just, I'm like, what is she staring at? And the little girl just goes, Mom, that guy has funny ears. The mom just starts panicking. No, you're not supposed to say things like that. Don't say that. Don't do that to me. No, Mom, he has ears like a monkey. By this point, the mom has turned bright tomato red and she's holding her daughter's lips shut. My friend, who was riding in the elevator with me, has now faced the corner of the elevator and is shaking from laughing so hard. Now, as he walks, as we get out of the elevator, you know, the mom's like, I'm so sorry, sir. You know, I try to tell her to be polite, don't say things like that. And I said, you know, it's okay. I heard it all through high school and elementary. I'll get over it. My friend says, you know what? If you had cracked a tear, she probably would have been grounded for life. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I try to check my jokes with some of my family and stuff like that. You know, my mom, I try to have her as one of my critics. And she, as I told her that story, she looks at me, and at that time I was shaving my head. So completely bald. And she looks at me and goes, well, if you didn't shave your head like that, they wouldn't make fun of you. I'm like, thanks for the support, Mom. Now, other times, you know, I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing stand-up for about 7 years now. And the funny thing is, one of the biggest things I've done is I've gone into competitions. I performed at the improv and whatnot. I did this improv comedy contest over there, and you know, I took first place in the first round and I lost in the finals. But the funny thing is, the reason I won the first round was for one joke, and it was a game called Sticky Situation. And what they asked me to do was I had to talk my way out of the sticky situation. Basically, I'm getting in trouble, and I got to find my way out. Well, the co-host, there were two hosts on it. One of the hosts was up on stage with me, and the other one was down on the floor, yelling action and cut. And my situation was, my boyfriend just caught me molesting an egg salad sandwich. And I had to talk my way out of that. I hope you're not picturing it, please don't. But it was just funny because the guy looks over and the host leans over to the mic and goes, well, I was gonna have an egg salad sandwich, but I guess I'm not now. What are you doing? I leaned into the mic and went, adding dressing. The other host yells out, cut, get off stage! I'm sorry if that was too raunchy for you guys, but it's funny, don't explain it to the kids until later when they understand. Now, I realize this is interesting stuff, but I did that joke, and as I got off, my wife was in the audience, and as I finished the show, I go over to her, and I'm like, so how'd you like it? And she goes, it was good. But she looks over at me and she goes, do you realize you did that in front of your mom? Oh, I know I turned paper white. I turn around, my mom is standing right behind me. And I said, Mom, how'd you like the show? She looks at me and goes, it was good, mijo. But I had to explain all the jokes to your dad. Oh, that was embarrassing. Oh, it's bad. You know, I've had my embarrassing moments. If you guys have ever had a cell phone damaged, if anyone's had a messed up phone or something like that, I could say it was my first phone I ever had. I was, thinking I was all cool because it was back at the time when not everyone had cell phones. I was like, all right, I'm getting a phone call. Hold on, I'll answer that. Next thing you know, I get a phone call, answer it, and then I had to go to the bathroom. Well, as I lean over to flush, all of a sudden my phone falls out of my pocket into the toilet. First thought is, dive! I grabbed the antenna of this phone, which just shows how old that phone was. I'm holding it for the longest flush ever. As I get it out, screen's black. Not working at all. I'm like, oh, now I gotta go get a new one. But I figured maybe I can save it. So I let it sit for a couple days. Sure enough, the screen comes back. I'm getting calls, but everyone who called me sounded like they were talking crap. I know it's a long one, but you have to just wait for it. All right, we're going to keep this thing going here, John, if you're ready. You want everything else? All right, John's tuned up. He acts like he's going to play something interesting. Yeah, let's get the drummer here. I can improv.
What you gotta do, man?
Nah, you know what? So, can I get a round of applause? My name's Silos, by the way, so if anyone enjoyed this stuff,